Hey everyone, welcome back to Out of Band, a Microsoft security podcast. I'm Andrew Young, a Microsoft AI workforce and security capability lead at InfoMotion. I'm also a Microsoft MVP in security and M365.
And I'm Anthony Porter, Cloud Security Architect at Canon Business Services, specializing in the Defender and Intune space.
I'm Matthew Clark. I am a Cloud and Security Architect for Avanade.
I'd like to take a moment to recognize that we now have a new cast of faces here. So Matt has officially joined us of our last episode, but we actually have Anto back. A bit more healthier this time. No plagues, no sicknesses.
Look, it's one of those unfortunates that come across every so often. But look, we're back in action. You know, I was a bit disappointed. I obviously didn't get to see Cheyenne off on the last episode, but I think the sentiment was met that it's obviously very sad that one of our pioneering hosts obviously had stepped back, but I think in recent conversations he'd be more than happy to jump back on the podcast every once in a blue. So yeah, look, down a host but up a guest, never complaining in that space. And to be honest, I couldn't think of anybody better than Matt to take his place. So finally good to, have you on the cast probably a bit more permanently.
I think the funny thing about that as well is that even Shane couldn't make his own farewell.
No, nobody noticed that editing. It was probably the most
pristine.
It was highest quality clip champ you've ever seen. And did I also notice that there was a new introduction for new introduction sound for one episode, and then it bounced back to the existing. I think I noticed that one of the episodes had a new intro sound. I was like, "Oh, this is new," and then we went back to the old one. I was like, "Ah,
yeah." Well, couldn't find it.
It'll be in the list.
I think Shahan decided, oh, we'll pick this one, and then we never ran with it again until the last episode, and I think they changed some stuff within Clipchamp, so you don't actually see the music categories anymore. It's just music. So, and then I tried to use AI to what's this music, and it couldn't detect it. So we just fell back.
Shazam it, sorry, just
I literally used Shazam.
My absolutely off topic. My go-to is on Clipchamp is called just 2 a.m. I'm like, I can't forget 2 a.m. Probably because that's when I'm editing something. Because it'll be like, what's that
time? Can't get interrupted.
Yeah, 2 a.m. Yeah, that's it, mate. It's no.
We got an opportunity now, but this is probably probably been in post where we add the music. So yeah, here's our new theme that you would have just listened to, and we'll pick something. We've picked something for 2026.
Brand new, yeah. New beginnings, new theme song. I hope you didn't like the old one because we don't remember what it was called. If you do know what it's called, put it in the comments or wherever, please, and we'll bring it back just for you.
We got a new font as well because that was tied behind Shahan's Canva file as well.
Yeah, mate, new font, new font. Jeez.
New year, new everything.
Look,
get a new name for the podcast.
Actually found out that my daughter was subscribed to Canva on my account. I just was looking through the bank statement and was like, oh yeah, there's 4 months of Canva charge there. That's great.
Look. Look. That's fingers across that it's in check now.
Oh yeah, cancelled it, but it's one of those things. It was made a good secure in seconds mail out.
Yeah, that's you fixed your agent now, your automation.
Which one?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, the one that somehow managed to send every banked post on a Sunday night.
No, I sent 2 today. Didn't you see?
I did see that actually. I was like, you mentioned the cast, and then you tagged me in the other one, and then I liked the other one. I was am I just
it's just engagement farming here.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, most people aren't going to see it, right?
That's a lie. I saw it. And
I mean,
you're not most people.
We get people seeing it in 2 weeks' time.
It's You realize you've scrolled too much LinkedIn when you've got it set to like only the important stuff, and then you scroll to the point where it's like maybe unrelevant posts, and you're like, no, I'm good then.
I'm good at this point. That's enough.
Actually, I think this is like that tap on the shoulder you need to just stop trying to scroll LinkedIn of all things. I should go back to more traditional social media. I'm not going to do that. That's a cesspool.
Yeah, no, it's no good.
Uh,
Think of the slopportunities.
yeah, that's it, right? It's I mean that's where some of the best memes are made, right? If not Reddit. And even then it's kind of like, that's questionable. I wouldn't post that on a social media.
I just love they're doing that Balenciaga Harry Potter thing over and over again. That's my favorite.
So many different themes.
Mm.
Right.
You just wish they would stop. You're just like,
But at the same time,
think of the water that they're using on all this AI slot, mate. Like, isn't that the whole fad? Is think of all the water that you are using to use AI. It's like, what do you mean? Like, you talking about water cooling? It's probably closed loop. Like, what are you doing? But
and even still, it's not polluting the water. It's just getting boiled like everything else.
Well, that data center that Microsoft had, Project Natick, where they just had a submerged data center off the coast of Scotland, I think, somewhere, and it was just like cold, just deep waters, best cooling ever.
there's also the project. They're submerging. They're writing to glass. I believe is what I saw. They're submerging glass and writing to glass as a way to store data more permanently. And I mean, I'd like to see what kind of like temperament this glass is, because I believe discs are a bit more brick and mortar than glass. But I guess if it's underwater, it's probably a bit. I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Isn't it like, you hold glass underwater and it's practically invisible?
I mean, if it is, then sorry to every ship and submarine that's about to drive through a data center. I wouldn't want to be that.
It's purely glass. Like, it's not a piece of silicon inside it at all. The other one that gets me is the space data centers. Actually, how they're talking about doing that. And you're like, but space isn't actually that great at heat dispersion.
Here we are. Project. Look, I'll do the screen sharing magic. Watch this. Unlocked.microsoft.com sealed in glass. All right, let's remember how we share screens. I'm definitely
that we just slap it in post, right?
Watch stream.
Watch this. This is the sealed in glass. So the Project Silica coaster-sized glass plates can store data for thousands of years, creating sustainable storage for the world.
Project name makes sense.
What was that?
So the project name makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's yeah. This is literally the idea of being able to demonstrate that a coaster-sized piece of glass, and I'm talking coaster be 15 centimeters by 15 centimeters at most, can store 4.8 terabytes of data written in hundreds of layers inside the material. This is like insane in terms of, I guess, leaps and bounds to where I believe, USBs of a similar size, call it 10, 15 years ago, could carry 400 times less. And now we're like going to just use glass to store data. And then obviously with the understanding.
You remember having those 16 meg USB sticks? So good.
Oh, massive.
I literally have like SD. I got a new camera. I literally have SD cards of like half the size of a coaster, of like 300 times less size, just sitting in physical hardware. And this is obviously a little bit more technical. And to that point, I'd like to see the durability of glass, but this is one of those, I guess, innovations that it's not necessarily security. I guess it is if you want to talk, go down that rabbit hole of, I guess, contingency and disaster recovery and availability. I don't know how
Yeah.
available underwater would be.
Yeah, it's that really cool storage layer. This is how they get archive storage.
this is why
Throw it on a glass coaster and toss it
the
into the ocean.
Arctic tier.
this is why it costs so much to retrieve from cold.
They can't find it because it's invisible underwater. It's got divers down there looking for
More
it.
archivists is just like in scuba gear, like shining a light.
They're like, oh god, this company A wants data from that again. Oh god, they get out the light.
No, we accidentally threw it in the Mariana Trench.
I should be right. I'm sure there'll be a light source down there.
Yeah.
But no, it's insane in terms of, I guess, where we were and where we're going. Just even being able to have data centers not necessarily pollute, I guess, residential and business areas, which they seem to pop up everywhere. I'd obviously be more concerned about all of a sudden we've moved away from residential impact to like sea life impact, but I'm sure they've considered what that would look like in terms of the global position.
Well, yeah, it's all the heating of the ocean as well.
Look at that! Oh, fancy website. If you don't if you're not watching this, the website's definitely been probably vibe coded. Nah. Awesome.
The sea temp just went up a bit when you did that.
Yeah, we used a leader. Sorry, everybody. No, but this is it's really good to see that there is innovations not only in the call it security space, but also just in general the IT space in general. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Watch this magic trick.
All that news we saw in our SAIT Discord channel, I think one of the articles was around Microsoft now's dropping the idea of being carbon neutral or something like that.
Dropping the idea of
really? That's interesting.
That's
well, they're aiming to be. They were aiming to be negative, but I don't think that was ever going to happen. And now that they're doing all the AI stuff, don't know if they can really commit to being
innovative as well as the environmental. Is it because they're sticking glass in water?
The sunlight's going through it and it's heating up faster.
Yeah, it's like a magnifying glass. Sorry, environment. But this
all I'm seeing here is the USB bypass for BitLocker as a 0-day. That's looking pretty cool. Which is funny off the back of this Patch Tuesday. Apparently, this is the first Patch Tuesday in a long time that didn't have a 0-day in it. So, to get that thrown out, or a fix for a 0-day rather.
We'll take it.
It's probably... And then, another 0-day announced on BitLocker.
Who uses it? No.
Not as many people as should.
It's I mean, the blue screen around the world showed that people did use it.
That is actually a good one as well, because there's a certificate that is expiring for the signing of the TPM. Hang on, let me pull that up.
While you're looking for that, just to fact check myself and correct what I just said. So the article states that Microsoft may shelve their 2030 clean energy target.
So 2031? No.
Yeah, it's considering delaying or abandoning that goal of matching its entire hourly electricity use with renewable energy purchases.
I guess when you summarize the compute and data center and I guess that expansion.
And it's paywalled on IT News, so I can't see the rest of the article.
Anybody got a subscription to IT News? Send us a comment. No. It's just going to be a crowdsourced knowledge source from this point onwards. No, I think obviously with the mention of CV, it's probably an awesome segue into the discussion around MDASH, which obviously people are like, what is MDASH? Like, what are you saying in that? So MDASH got announced 2 days ago, so this will go live very soon. But MDASH is Microsoft's new multi-agent agnostic security harness. And what that means is, and MDASH stands for multi-model, and they took the D out of of model.
Model.
So it's M-dash. It's not MMAS, it's M-dash. So it's multi-model agnostic agentic scanning harness, which is essentially Microsoft's autonomous coding security team has built a platform that essentially uses multiple agents to orchestrate. I think they've mentioned 100 specialized AI agents across an assembly of frontier and distilled models to discover, debate, and prove exploitable bugs end to end. I guess literally what that is in terms of, I guess, the logic behind it is that we now have a Microsoft vulnerability scanner. I say ready to be used, but it is locked in a private preview. There is the ability to get into the private preview programs if you are within a partnership or you're a Microsoft MVP, but there are also a lot of ongoing forums with that discussion at mind. But really, the idea of it is that it's taking away that traditional security tooling or operation, which kind of runs in silo. You have one tool do a specific job, and that's great. The idea of this is obviously it's hundreds of agentic tools, I guess we'll call it, all coupled together to work in a similar pattern. So once again, using that AI-powered tooling to provide that multiple orchestrated process to provide a common outcome, which in this case is vulnerabilities, being able to detect, exploit, confirm, document, and then probably even to the point of provide, industry benchmarks that you could reference it to, potentially resolutions or fixes for these vulnerabilities. I think within the first run of it, they found like a bucket ton of vulnerabilities that were not previously found as of yet. And I'm not going to bring up, strategic real world comparison points of, I will. I'm just going to bring it up because why not? It's just a lot of me having to click backwards and forwards between sharing my screen, which I'm sure you'll get sick of in the near future. But it is very hard to see. But we can see here that the 21 of the 21 planted vulnerabilities, planted, I guess being the key word, found with the 0 false positives on a private test driver, 96% recall against 5 years of confirmed Microsoft Security Response Center cases, and 100% in the TCP/IP sys. We can see here's a bunch of the models all paired up against each other. You can see Claude Mythos preview. That's the Claude vulnerability model. We can see GPT 5.5's up there playing its role, but M-dash be it the multi-model, obviously topping out over the top in regards to the success rate.
Well, that's Microsoft coming in and saying, "¿Por qué no los dos?" and using both GPT 5.5, right?
Can't complain. I think it's regardless of who's on top, like at this stage, excellent that it's a Microsoft initiative, but you can see the upward scale that this trajectory is going anyway. We are moving into a higher success rate as the months come. It's not necessarily even years, it's in the months. So I would say that this is just genuinely a really good position to be in, at least from the defender's point of view of being able to define and find vulnerabilities, I guess, prior to, releasing software or releasing updates, which may or may not, cause adverse reaction in future. The stats of pulling, 90 odd percent or 88.45%, is insane when you think that back we'll call it this time last year, we are obviously in the month of May 2026. May 2025 was using GPT 4.1, Claude Sonnet 3.7. We were around the 15%, which is insanely, I guess, low to think that in a year's time we've been able to jump exponential in that.
Yeah, there was a thing actually from Daniel Steinberger, the maintainer of the curl library. He famously rejected and closed down his bug bounty program because of AI slop, just creating a denial of attention attack effectively on the bug bounty program. He was unable to action all of the things there. But he was part of or invited to participate in the Project Glasswing thing from Claude, and they actually managed to find only one vulnerability in Claude, in curl after all of that. But he's actually to a point now where he's reversing his tune and saying this is actually getting to a point where it's actually useful, which is a huge turnaround from one of the biggest public critics there is.
It's I think everybody was a bit skeptical about bits and pieces in the industry, and this is just one of those situations where people start to see the benefit. I still have conversations about people that don't I guess use AI in day to day, and it's each to their own in the end, right? Some people use it, some people don't, but there's always going to be those cases where it does show its benefit, and it's yeah. I would like to.
The bit that gets me though is when you review a document or something and it's just got blatant ChatGPT at the top of it, right? Like, hey, this is a perfect drop into your critical security plan that you're putting in front of someone. It's like, come on, man, like at least read it before you copy paste it.
Or you forget to tell it not to provide slop at the
Yeah.
end, and it's like, what about if we make this into a Word document for you? It's like, you could have just copy pasted the middle section into the doc, and then you'd be good to go. Hey, just clicking that Word button and shipping it. Yeah, it's almost like AI's made people more neglectful of like the core foundations of like proofreading. But then again,
And that's such a strange thing to say that as well, right? Because the reality is it should be the opposite. You should be more on top of proofreading because you don't know what you're committing to having written.
I think it comes back to like you save an hour by doing this, but okay, you save an hour, but then you put another 5, 10, 15 minutes of that hour just making sure that like what is associated to your name when you get send it out, that it doesn't make you look silly. And because in the end, like you send out this slop and it's associated to your name, and if you haven't proofread it to what you're saying, Matt, is that you look silly in the end, just forgetting to remove a section that says that is an amazing idea. Let me help you put that into a Word document format, and you can copy paste the contents. And then they just hit copy on the whole prompt, and then dump send wipe hands on pants. I gamed 55 minutes instead of 45, and a little bit more egg on the face.
That's it. I put down my coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus, mate. No. Oh man. But no, I guess back to it, like I guess the MDASH side of things, like for customers, faster triage process, better correlation against identities, endpoints, better detection accuracy, better reasoning, better quality, more efficient timing just in general. And I think the idea is that it's not like a standalone product. It's like foundationally going to be within Microsoft Defender, Entra, and Purview, because obviously that's where most of the security copilot aspects sit. So yeah, I guess it's something to watch. It's still very early days in regards to, I guess, what's happening within Microsoft, and it really is early days. It's only as of the last couple of days. But no, it'll be interesting to see.
I found my security thing that I was talking about, the certificate thing rather. It's the secure boot certificates from 2011 expires next month, and that's from the Microsoft Corporation KEKCA from 2011. It won't cause your computers to brick or anything, but it will stop those early security protections from the early boot process. So yeah, Windows Boot Manager updates need to be updated.
It's should be interesting.
I'm sure it won't bite anybody in the butt.
until you have certificates that need updating, and then you go, how do we manage certificates these days in cloud?
Yeah.
And then you start furiously looking around for a solution, which almost segues really, really well into probably a more of a what's new, at least in the late stages of April and early stages of May. I do know that a lot more of the Intune suite is on its way, which obviously the Intune suite includes that PKI. July, yeah. So on its way. So if you are looking at a solution for managing PKIs, obviously Intune will have that coming. So obviously it's not going to save your bacon right now, but it saves you having to set up a ADCS or some sort of certificate server and panicking your way through just to figure out that you don't necessarily need it, or band-aid in between.
I mean, you see a bunch of those CA servers are actually just offline most of the time, right? It's like turn it on, issue the certificate, turn it back off again, and that's the safe way to do it, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and I said CS, and it's probably because I was staring, like a Steam notification popped up in the bottom of my. Oh no, I'm just gonna be out about it.
ADCS.
See you in Italy.
Yeah, yeah. Mate, nobody plays Italy. No, this is welcome to welcome to Out of Context. The
new CS podcast.
Yeah, jeez, wow.
We'll have the War Owl on.
Yeah. Oh, geez, that'd be wow, man. We are all really, really sweaty. No, I mean, in terms of I guess bits and pieces that is new, I guess within the Defender space. One of the other ones that I wanted to mention was that there's now the take action wizard, which allows for like customers to allow or block like top level domains and file attachments hashed in emails based on queries. So the idea is that you can search something via like advanced hunting and now be able to take action or say, hey, any of these, we actually want to block these like straight off the bat, rather than it be something that you then have to jump into another portal and go down the wormhole of trying to find where you block that in Defender for Office 365, for example. You have the ability to like move mailbox move mail to like mailbox folders. You have the ability to delete emails. So like if you find somebody's got a malicious email, you can advance hunt. You can then like use an action straight off the back of that to say, hey, everybody that's got that, like ship it out. We don't need that anymore. There's a lot of these real nice to have, features within the threat hunting space, which obviously plays into the unified portal and what's to come once everybody migrates into the unified portal a bit more forceful in March 2027.
That's kind of cool.
It's something that everybody probably needs to put more on the radar so that it's done. Microsoft's given sufficient time, I think, is that there's obviously some big organizations which are scrambling to try and figure out how they're going to do role based or assign permissions and so. But I think really like the due date was going to be what, this year, mid this year.
Yeah, I was going to say next month, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they've gone, actually, we're going to give you another 9 months, and it's the same outcomes. They've made a lot more advancements. There was the recent conference where they've advised further RBAC within the Defender portal, which would allow for you to separate permissions a bit, I guess, a bit more effectively and efficiently. They're making it a lot easier to progress with the migration. It's just the conversations I'm having, people seem to like refer back to just the comfortable, but my Sentinel in Azure, that's comfortable, that's easy, that's where I've done it. That's what my my SC200 that I did back in 2022 told me where I need to do things. And it's like, well, if we were all back in 2022, we'd probably have less gray hair, but also we wouldn't be here where we are today. So yeah, it's a natural progression that needs to happen. And I think, yeah, as saying that unified role-based access control is really having leaps and bounds in comparison to where it was, I guess, this time last year. And I guess that's also a connection of, you do need certain unified RBAC permissions to be able to use the take action function within advanced hunting. So you would need the response configuration within security data to be manage and not just read. And then the email collaboration to be manage as well instead of just read, because obviously you would be.
So is that custom roles then to do that, or I'll set you up with the thing there? Are you doing custom roles for that, or are you using built-ins?
So I would probably state that the membership assignment in this case is built in. Are we building custom roles? I don't think we need to. They've gone really granular with regards to like the permissions. I guess there are cases where, if you have a extremely large multi-tenant organization, you're in a, a different situation. But I think in terms of everyday run-of-the-mill, have E5 licensing, have E3 licensing, and you're looking to migrate in, I don't think you need custom, no. What have you seen, Matt?
The main custom role I see in use, which it's recommended by the CIS, right, is the resource lock administrator, because there's no role that just controls resource locks. So it's have a contributor role, or not a contributor role, but a resource lock administrator role that you generate. And all it can do is create and delete resource locks.
So it would be the equivalent of, I'm trying to think of a privileged Entra role that only operates around itself. But
yeah, right. But like that's kind of it. It's an Azure role that doesn't exist below contributor. Like it's way too high level to be able to get that. You just carve this tiny piece out and go, you as a network contributor can also do resource locks, which means you can control your resources better.
And you would obviously allocate that at a resource level within a subscription, or?
Yeah. Or it depends. You might go, this is part of the network group, and you assign that role to those ones, and then use that same principle to pass it out to everybody.
So I guess, if you have contributor and you are required to implement a resource lock, at what stage do you believe or feel that an administrator without contributor should impact the resource lock function then?
So I would take it the other way, right? Like most people shouldn't have or shouldn't need contributor in any way, shape, or form. They should be role specific. If you're a network person,
virtual
you should have a
machine
network
contributor.
Yeah, that's it. And so you don't want to have that contributor owner level permission out there. And I mean, the only difference between owner and contributor is you can control permissions.
Yeah.
So just going, here's my owner level access that can't do permissions, or here's my network administrator who can take control of a resource lock. That's where I would use that one.
I guess it comes back to like that whole, call it PIM fatigue, right? Obviously you've got just in time for all of this, because if you don't, come on now, you've got just in time, you've got VM contributor, you've got network contributor, you've got, a bunch of Entra roles that you also needed to, because who knows what you're doing. And then all of a sudden you've spent more time enabling contributor just so you can, migrate something into, from one resource group to another, where contributor would be a benefit just to, save for time. But then obviously it's that troublesome point, right? You don't want to be a deterrent to productivity, but you want to keep things secure. No, it's the tricky, what comes first, the permissions or the requirement for the job.
Yeah, that's it.
Or the chicken and the egg, whatever you.
And I mean, it depends on size of the organization as well, right? Like if you're a one-man shop, then maybe you want that owner level permission because you're a one-man shop and you need to do everything.
If you don't, and you're a one-man shop and you don't have owner of your own subscription, what are you doing?
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, good luck trying to fix billing. But no, and I mean, just use user access administrator instead of owner, and contributor, and you'll be good to go. Because isn't user access admin the lesser of the contributions plus access over owner?
Yeah, it's like the if you had
Broader
contributor and user access administrator, you're basically an owner.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? Having just owner is the more efficient way that is just one less PIM to be able to achieve it. If you have multiple contributor requirements in a subscription and you start lining them up and you're PIMing and you're waiting for one to cache refresh so that you can do a job function, I guess it comes back to having an additional one just to allow for you to functionally make a change to a resource lock.
Yeah, I mean, you get into those bigger and bigger organizations, right? And it's like, well, at this scale, we have a network team and the network team deals with the network. Or, in some organizations, they have multiple network teams and someone does firewalls, someone does this specific device. And, then what do they access? And that's where your custom roles and stuff start to come in as well.
Yeah, I personally, I think having custom roles probably overcomplicates it when you could assign security groups to built-in roles where you would have one security group by PIM have network contributor and resource contributor, for example, and then it's one PIM, and then you go down the rabbit hole of, well, then you need access review, and then you need Entra ID governance licensing, and then you need and then once again you've overcomplicated it for the not overcomplicated it, you've just made it a lot more
governance heavy is probably a better way to put it.
Yeah, documentation. You've made more documentation. It's a good problem. It's definitely not a bad problem, but no, it is a good problem to have when you start going, oh well, how do we limit the amount of access we can provide someone as best as possible?
Yeah, that's it.
Apart from that, I don't really have any like major highlights in regards to the Defender space. I mainly was just pretty excited to see that there's a lot more inbuilt action behind threat hunting and the proactivity of, oh, that's bad, and being able to instantly make action from it rather than it being a jump to a different portal, probably activate a different PIM, to be able to provide an outcome all through least privilege. You are back within Defender. Being able to get people to make outcomes and keep things securer with less loopholes is, I think, what we're trying to achieve within the governance boundaries.
Yeah. The painful governance boundaries, the necessary evil. Just say the quiet part out loud. Like everybody loves governance.
Nobody even saw that. Yeah. No.
We'll fix it in post. Yeah, keeping the topic bound to AI and agents and security. I think in the last week or two, the security dashboard for AI is now generally available. And I'm going to break your world by sharing my application here. See if this works.
Not again.
I can't keep this up. I can't see the URL, but from memory, it's ai.security.microsoft.com.
Yep.
Yeah.
I won't zoom in too much, but yeah, this is the landing page for the security dashboard. If you have used the data security posture management for AI, or it's now just data security posture management in Purview, similar kind of thing where you've got all the telemetry insights around what's going on in your tenant. But instead of data security, it's all around Entra and Defender as well as Purview. So it's kind of an extension of DSPM. You got extra tasks you can turn on. So around enabling Entra ID protection, conditional access for agents, if you haven't done that yet. We can tie that down to Entra agent ID now. So each agent has an ID. sign conditional access policy. A couple of weeks ago, the Agent 365 was generally available as well. So that's a cool time to have all this stuff line up together. So you've got everything across the entire tenant landscape is manageable through here as well. And AI inventory, so you can see all of the random AI agents being used in the tenant, maybe, as well as any inherent AI risks that it detects. Glad there is 0 in here, because yeah. But I think at the same time, if I go back in here, it's like a one click. It should bring up like here's a thing, let's assign it to someone. Whereas with DSPM, I'm pretty sure it was a single click. You can go click on a plan and then turn on different policies in here, or go to create them in the right portal space. But it's accelerating the AI readiness, I guess, from having nothing turned on to having some pretty decent policies in place to ensure that there's safe and responsible usage of AI or agents in your tenant.
It's kind of important, especially with these, like in the patch Tuesday, there were 3 prompt injection style attacks that leak information from emails, Teams, Word documents, and SharePoint. That was, there's sort of that silent data breach pipeline, right? Like it's where you just send someone an email and it's got some instructions for Copilot to go and just send some emails out and that kind of thing. Having that extra layer of governance there is actually really important.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that? There was a defender feature that was protecting agents from prompt injection attacks. I can't remember if it was
It's still there.
GA or
GA right now.
Yeah. So,
it went GA as soon as Agent 365 came out.
Okay.
And I know that because my Agent Camp 2025 presentation was talking all about it.
Segway.
And yes, the best segue that you've seen in a while. No, I what was it? Start of May. Was lucky enough to help volunteer and speak at Agent Camp 2025. So, part of the global AI community, they hosted the global, Agent Camp within Perth. This is not the Agent Con. That is a different, probably a lot larger scale, but obviously Agent Camp. And my presentation was essentially on threat hunting within undocumented, non-visible agents. I believe Garda and all these are saying that there'll be 80 to 1 of agents to users, because we'll have agents for everything and all that. And I don't see a lot of businesses actually documenting who has access to what, whose agents have what, whose ownership has what. And so my presentation was primarily around Microsoft released the top 10 risks to agentic AI and just the what you should do about it. I obviously didn't want to make it just a Copilot Studio focus, so I obviously brought in the OWASP side of things. And it was a really good presentation, but the presentation was on May 2nd. May 1st was the release of Agent 365, and May 1st was when they paywalled the core feature I was going to be talking about of you can take this back to your organization on the Monday, be it Saturday. You can take this back and literally start implementing. Here's everything you need to know. And so then, knowing that it got paywalled behind Agent 365 for good reason, I had to just completely change the messaging in the pitch deck, within 24 hours of the presentation. But to answer your question, previously the function sat within Defender for Cloud Apps. So when you go into Defender, you go into settings, you would select Defender for Cloud Apps, and from there you'd be able to select the Copilot agents or the Copilot Studio blade. From there you would be able to select Power Platform, Copilot Studio, and the real-time protection. That's now been moved out of the Defender for Cloud Apps settings section into a security for AI specific blade. So when you go through and you've got Cloud Apps, Defender, advanced features, etc., there's now a security for AI. And in there, there's just one very lonely menu that just says Copilot Studio. Same
Does
setup.
that only apply to Copilot Studio then?
So
Because that's the low code thing, right?
so Copilot Studio is the low code. You can also connect it into Power Platform, which there's a way that you can cite the endpoint of which it is the connection, which is Defender, and you can technically put that connection into wherever you're developing and have Defender grab telemetry and provide assistance. I'm not sure to the capability. Look, I will bring it up and have a quick look.
We've had a quick
Because
look here in the Defender portal, and it's all navigation's changed. It's adopted the same sidebar that Purview has. So you got the all solutions, and you got incident advanced hunting there now, and the the text is different.
And surprised it's a Copilot portal now.
I mean, if we're talking
security Copilot,
if we're talking portal updates, they updated M365 admin portal. I think that looks good. Like it's
yeah, colorful.
it actually, yeah, look, I'll share my screen. I've done it. We're moving.
God, I feel left out. I haven't shared my screen
Mate,
yet.
just find a web page.
You can share the next bit.
There you go. So here is the protecting AI assets from emerging threats and vulnerabilities. The idea is that its key is the supply chain risks, agent misconfiguration, and overprivilege. This here was the core of my conversation. It's essentially just saying, like, if your agent doesn't need 14 MCP servers, like, don't do that, but also the ability to use threat hunting, through the table that it ingests, which is the AI agent info table, to be able to say, hey, you've got 15 agents and all 15 agents have 15 MCP servers. Is that on your allowed list or your white list, or are they on your not so good list? A bit of like a, actionable insights, which, got moved. But the idea behind it is that the discovery, extended capabilities for supported agents, AI agent inventory for Copilot Studio, Foundry, which I believe is what you said, Bedrock, and GCP Vertex. So, provided you're on a PaaS of sorts, AWS and GCP, you can, from memory, it's connect the endpoint in which it pulls the information to be able to discover assets, and then once again extend the capability of security posture management. Now, as for the threat detection and hunting, it only states agents built within Copilot Studio have the ability to have real time. Agents built within Foundry have extended set of near real time Defender detection alerts. So I would suggest that the blocking threats is for Copilot Studio and near real-time detection alerts, whereas agents built within Foundry have an extended set of near real-time detection alerts.
Foundry would be adopting the benefit cloud stuff as well. That's all Azure AI based.
Yeah, correct. And then, so I'm not 100% sure if it extends to AWS Bedrock and the GCP Vertex AI. But in saying that, this is all extremely new. As I said, it only moved to its own dedicated blade within the settings menu a couple of weeks ago at most.
I'm just looking in there now under assets and AI agents preview. It says action needed for continued protection, and then it says the Defender capabilities that are part of Agent 365 will be generally available on July 1st.
I could tell you now, I got screenshots of it being made because I was crying, man.
Right here, like this is what it says. Like, that doesn't. That should be May 1st.
Look, May 1st. I could tell you now that it's alongside the Microsoft Agent 365. It says it all through. It's printed everywhere. The idea is that.
Yeah, I did get a message from someone saying that not all of the features were available at launch date. So not the May 1st date. So this is probably one of the things that are coming after launch. So specifically Defender capabilities that are part of Agent 365.
I mean, look, I think it's just good that there is a Defender platform, or at least a Defender looking towards not only securing the Microsoft fleet of Copilot Studio and the Foundry side of things, but also extending that towards AWS and obviously Google. We can see here on the screen, those who can't see, it's looking at things like AI usage for sensitive information, shadow IT, etc. It's looking at generative AI sprawl or agent sprawl or insider risk. It's looking at foundational training models like model theft or training data poisoning. It's looking at applications like the generative AI-based agent lifecycle side of things like prompt injection, data leakage, intent to poison context and memory, intent to break, misbehave, or malfunction AI agents, and so on. But yeah, the AI agents info table says that it should be up and running in 30 minutes. I think it took my environment a couple hours to get information, but I'm not sure if it's just because it wasn't a frequently used and it needed to just have an agent check in, for example. Obviously, I'm not using every single agent within a tenant that I did test this in. But it was good. It gave you a lens, not only just at what's happening in a protection layer, but the ability to run threat hunting queries over the top of it. So the ability to say, actually, the knowledge sources from every agent, if it's a HTTP, like tell me, because that's not very good. We should be having HTTPS. That would be lovely. But I'll stop sharing my screen.
Just noticed under agents or the Agent 365 menu, there's now a shadow AI menu there. It does say Frontier.
It's also a blog that Microsoft have put out as well on agentic AI and Copilot Studio. Is the OWASP top 10 risks are also addressable in that same studio.
Welcome to my presentation. It's literally they put out a blog in February, and I think in my presentation I literally say this got no airtime and it should have, and then I think literally like a week prior, or what, that only just came out like yesterday, 2 days ago.
Yeah,
and it's literally just got what I was talking about. Like there's the top 10. It's literally the top 10 that I speak. So it's like I pioneered it, but I didn't. Microsoft wrote
Take
about
credit
it.
for it, man.
Yeah. Microsoft wrote about it in like February, and then I put everything together in terms of the presentation, and then they just re-announced it with the OWASP link. I technically did the OWASP link myself using ChatGPT. I'm not that. Work smarter, not harder. Just proofread it. But no, it was a good presentation. It was actually a really solid day. It was a lot of discussions. Specifically, it was there was a 50-50 split between talks and workshops. So global AI community has a lot of backing from obviously Microsoft. So a lot of their workshops were funded. So the idea is you brought your laptop and they gave you credits to be able to use aspects of Foundry, for example. So it was a really good day from that side of things. A lot of people were really interested in pretty much just going to the workshops. I, to be completely blunt, only really listen to the talks. I'm more of a I'm not really an AI focused person. It's very developer focused. And so I sat in on most of how are people using AI, because obviously that helps me learn, and then through what people are doing, I could figure out what people shouldn't be doing. And then I obviously talked in the talking stream of this is what you shouldn't do. It got really good feedback. I believe one person said that they think that every slide that I presented had photos taken of it, which meant that it had core information and it wasn't something just to brush over. And because I ran out of time and didn't have enough time for questions, that's the only feedback I have, and I'm gonna take it as a positive.
That sounds like a good prezo.
Yeah, it's something that I should probably make better and not rush the last 24 hours to change the context from take this away to here's a high level thing that you should just be aware of. And that was good. I'm sure there'll be a global event that I could present it at soon.
Yeah, so something like that. Maybe two, right?
Maybe
Yours is
two.
on the first or something, and
Maybe on the first. Is this the? You know what, Matt? Can you bring up the website? And you can share
oh
your
god,
screen.
my moment, it's here.
Only because I don't want to. No, I think it's an awesome once again segue towards back in 2025. So George Coldham, Michelle, Sanford, a couple of Microsoft employees and myself within the Perth office, I guess, identified that there's, the global AI community and there's also the global Azure community. They're quite big. I think the global AI community has, had over 150,000 people attend an event. There's 170 odd chapters across the world. Numbers not to be, turn your nose up at, and they've only been operational since 2018. Global Azure is on a similar scale. And obviously, in conversations that I've had with fellow Microsoft folk within Perth, we went, oh, there's no global security. So in 2025, we thought we'd pioneer what would be potentially like what it might look like. We ran a workshop, over 200 registrations, of which we were very nervous to find that we don't have the capacity for over 200. Luckily, only about 140, 150 attended. So we were at capacity, but we did not exceed capacity. And so that was kind of our pioneering moment of 2025. We started what would be Global Security Community and the Global Security Bootcamp Perth 2025. And then as of May 1st, we also unveiled it to, I guess, LinkedIn and the community that Global Security Community was ready to go. The idea of that is that we allow for, MVPs or leaders within the, around the world to essentially register for themselves to either run a chapter or participate in events that these chapters run. Luckily, I know some pretty top, highly educated, willing test subjects in South Australia, which we were obviously.
Can you introduce us?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is the best introduction ever. So the idea is that we have all of a sudden, it's growing, which is quite good considering it's just off the back of almost a word of mouth situation. Right. And we have the global security community. If you go find your chapter, massive props to find your chapter, mate. Click chapters up the top. What are you doing?
Chapters.
Yeah. You can see here that we have stemmed across Australia. We've got 2 in New Zealand, and we're actually starting to, spread across the world. So we've got 1 in Sri Lanka, and we've got 1 in Canada, and we've got 1 in the United States, which is amazing to see. The idea of this is a chapter is kind of, call it a lead or a responsible party, of which this responsible party will run events on behalf of the global security community. But the idea would be that it's a free event for you to be able to attend, learn, take away knowledgeable information. I think one of the highlights is first to cap off the rank, you can see Global Security Community Adelaide, of which the chapter leads are Andrew, Matt, and Shayhan, which is awesome to see. And you can see that there is an upcoming event for Adelaide on the 22nd of August 2026.
And I'm a faceless individual.
It's a Gravatar. Just make a Gravatar. Come on, man. There's a couple others that don't have it either, but just make a Gravatar, man.
What do you mean? This is just how my photos turn out. I don't know.
It's probably the blurred background. That's probably what it is. But I think the idea is that trying to build a bit more of a security focused community. Obviously, it's great to see that we've spread to a global scale. You can see there we've got the Perth chapter. It's led by myself and George Coldham. And I guess the concept and the building of the website and the wiki and all of the inner workings was kind of a passion project of ours for a couple of months. So it's really good to see. If you are interested in joining I guess any events coming up. Obviously, most of these will be in person, but if they are not, they'll probably state that they are, available to be joined remotely. If you do wish to create a remote one, the idea would be that you would have an in person if possible. But yeah, if you see an event that's near you, check that's where the dates line up, and by all means, please join. It would be great to see more people join these events, because obviously it's community, and community needs people to remain a community. But yeah, Perth, August 1st, at the Microsoft Perth headquarters. So that's on St. George's Terrace. And then Adelaide is the 22nd of August at the Microsoft Adelaide headquarters, which is on Pierre Street. No, what's your take on the whole global security community?
Well, I see that seats are going fast. That's my biggest call out here. Is people are starting to sign up, and that's huge. It's also good to get a whole bunch of people together and have really good conversations about security. And having it as a free in-person event sort of turns some of those things around that people don't normally get into the city or that kind of thing. So it's a good opportunity to catch up with a bunch of good people.
You've obviously already got quite a big community within, I guess, Adelaide, in terms of the Adelaide IT Discord. So I think it's a good. I know you guys throw the dinner every once in a blue, and it gets a pretty good turnout. So it'll be just like a dinner, except not a dinner, and they'll probably learn a bit more. And no, it's
We've had mostly lunches, so it's very similar to a lunch.
see, even better then. No, even better.
I've randomly just stopped sharing to ruin
Right.
your overlay.
That's all right. I'm not editing.
It'll just be long.
Only thing I'm gonna do is edit you to be 16:9 and 4:3.
Yeah, and I've turned my light off in the middle of the thing because it got suddenly too dark and I was overexposed.
Oh dear.
It's all right. I turn my ceiling light off. I have a studio light that sits beside me in hopes of the best.
Just turn on light
I
mode
just
on
have a
your
key light.
Smart man. I'm gonna quickly reference what the pretend agenda says. Apart from global security community and the upcoming events, Andrew, you made mention there's a couple you're coming your way.
Yeah, so I will be making my way over to Melbourne at the end of the month for the Digital Workplace Conference Australia 2026. That's run by the chaps and the lovely people at Digital Workplace Results. They hail from New Zealand, so they do the New Zealand one and then Australia ones, and they alternate between Sydney and Melbourne every year or so. So I'll be presenting on the topic of data security for M365 Copilot and agents. Less so on the agent side of things. There will be a follow-up session on Agent 365 on the second day, so I won't steal any thunder in that regard. But yeah, if anyone's in Melbourne or keen to travel to Melbourne, definitely check that one out. It's dwcau.com.au.
You should just steal the thunder. What are you talking about?
No,
Just do it, man.
Slide
Maybe
into
it's your own.
Yeah, you pioneered it. I guess in terms of events that are coming to Perth, we've got Agent Con coming in June, which obviously is another one of the global AI community larger events. I believe that they only have one con per in Australia, in which we're lucky enough to have it in Perth. There is still the call for speakers out for that. I believe it finishes in a week. But I believe that there's going to be some, quite interesting folk flying over for it, which should be, really, really good to see. Probably a really interesting keynote or some follow-up sessions. I personally will be volunteering. It is on a Friday, so I'm very grateful. I have an organization that I work for that allows me to have volunteering days. So I'll be taking a volunteer day to assist in the technical as well as making sure the event is ran, effectively. So I'll probably assist in some of the workshops to make sure everybody's GitHub code pull is working and any problems that people have in that space. And I'll try not to just say just use GitHub Copilot, because that's the default these days. It's pretty easy to say that.
Oh, nice big silence there. I like it.
That's it. I think in terms of upcoming podcasts, we've got a couple of guests which are keen to jump on. We've got a couple of familiar names, a couple of not so familiar names. I think the idea is that we've just got to tee them up at the right time because everybody's busy in life.
It's just time zones and children just make things really interesting when you're trying to coordinate with remote speakers, but that's how it is.
But no, we obviously we do try and get a bit of a variety in these, and we will be getting variety. It is on its way. We have a couple of names lined up. I think it's just trying to lock in the names to a time zone that suits everybody. But it should be good. It's going to be quite a variety of the speakers. I know that there's probably one that sits within the maybe the purview data security space, might be bridging into more security. I know that there's one that's in the M365 and Copilot space. I know that's one within the security space. So there's going to be a lot of variety coming up in these. We'll obviously keep these topics fairly security focused, but the idea to that would be that we do try and keep it relevant to the podcast and what we discuss, but obviously allowing for a bit of a platform to these for these people to talk from.
Yeah, excited to have him on. Be good to have a chat, whatever time that happens to be.
Soon, TM.
Soon, TM. That's it. Should we wrap it?
Guess that's the universal call for wrapping it. So
look, thank you everybody for tuning in for another episode of Out of Band, the Microsoft Security Podcast. I'm Anthony Porter, and I just want to thank you all for being here.
I'm Matt Clark. Thanks again for having me, and I appreciate the opportunity.
I'm Andrew Young.
All right.
Thanks for coming.
See you, everybody.